Thank you very much, Peter. Of course, you've had the President there launch the model that will be based really on districts. National government together with the province and the districts will be working together. But with me is the President himself, so we managed to get hold of him as he was leaving to perhaps explain more what this model is about. Mr. President, thank you very much for giving us your time. We know you were already leaving, but you agreed to at least tell us. How different is this model going to be really to all the other programs that we've known in trying to bring?
For the past 25 years, over the 25 years, we've been putting together various systems and processes that will sharpen the ability of government to focus more intently on service delivery and also economic development. So we've had a number of iterations, and various provinces have tried many others, and it has now converged into this new model that we call the district development model, which is going to ensure that we work in a much more integrated manner. Hitherto, government has tended to work in silos, each department looking after its own objectives without much cooperation with other departments, and ministers have also tended to do that, and in the provinces, municipalities have also tended to do that. Now with this one, we want government to work together in a coherent manner, in an integrated manner, vertically integrated and also horizontally properly coordinated. And with this, we will be able to have one plan for one district and one budget. And everybody has now bought into this. So we will stop having different plans. We'll have one budget that is pulled together from national, provincial, district and to local level, where we are now able, at one glance, be able to look at the developments that should happen in every district in our country. I've basically said, I want to be able to see district development on one screen, to be able to see exactly how that is going to work out. And now we're going to have the Ministry of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Leaders coordinating all this, coordinating it, making sure that it works as well as it should. And thus far, just in terms of the launch, the COCTA has done so well. Minister Dlamini Zuma has been able to corral all the ministers, be able to work together, working together with Minister Mthembu, to bring all the ministers together and departments to descend on the OR Tambo district, and each one be able to outline precisely what plans they have got to improve the lives of our people. But it is also a model that's going to enable us to work with other role players, to work with the private sector, to work with community organizations, to work with labor. Bringing all this together will be able to leverage the money that government has budgeted for, maybe 3 to 4 times over. Because as we do this, we will be able to see where the opportunities lie for business, where the gaps are in terms of development. So we will be able to have almost a blanket level of involvement in every district, so that we leave no area untouched. What will it do? It will enhance service delivery. It will promote economic development. It will also be able to deal with issues such as procurement, so that we get local procurement happening for the various needs that we have in the area. We will be able to ensure that the various developmental needs that our people have are addressed more properly. So for me, this is a game changer. We've been practicing this over many years. For instance, KZN did the Sugumasake operation, which also sought to do this, and a number of other provinces did more or less iterations of this. But now we're doing it on a globular level, with national government being at the forefront of ensuring that the district model does work indeed.
This involves people, Mr. President. I know that in terms of plans and the systems, I think South African government perhaps has done very good on that one. But people who are supposed to implement all of those so somehow don't take part.
Well, one of the benefits of this model is that it is going to identify what needs to be done. It's going to be what needs to be done, how is it going to be done, who is going to do it, when is it going to be done, what is it going to cost. And beyond that, we will then be able to monitor and evaluate what has been done. So this is the best cure, if one can put it that way, for lack of implementation. This is more implementation focused. It is going to be addressing the sort of lackadaisical approach that we've often had to implementation. So targets will be set, timelines will be put in place, and evaluation and monitoring will then take place. So I want to be able to sit in the office in the union buildings and have a really good timeline type of real-time look at what is happening in every one of our districts. We've got 44 districts, 8 metros. In the life of the administration, we want to touch all the districts and the metros. With this, from here, we go to eThekwini, which is an urban type of district. After that, we go to Waterberg in Limpopo, which is a mining area. We will then evaluate, look at the lessons we've learned, and then thereafter it's all systems go, and then we roll it out throughout the country.
The people of this country are quite poor, particularly in this district. The socio-economic conditions are very difficult for them. And we have been seeing as we're driving around, and of course you have seen it yourself, Mr. President. And we've also seen people engage in certain activities really that perhaps you have spoken about. Just recently, you went to Zimbabwe and then you apologized based on what had happened in South Africa. So you also have sent the envoys to the African continent. The first question, Mr. President, how have they been received? What message are they taking to the African continent? So is that message being received well by those people?
Well, as you know, we've sent envoys to the various parts of our continent, to the AU itself to go and see the officials of the AU. We've also sent envoys to Tanzania, also to the DRC. We've also sent envoys to Nigeria and to the west coast of Africa. Minister Jeff Radebe has been to see President Buhari of Nigeria. He sent me a very good message. He said he was well received, positively received, and the outcome was very, very positive. President Buhari received our message, and our message was clear, simple. South Africans are not xenophobic. South Africans want to live in peace with people from various other nations. And we also said, whilst we are having to deal with our own challenges, we want Africa to know that we are a country that is willing and prepared to live side by side with other nations. At the AU level, they have given recognition to the fact that the challenge that we have is that we have got a number of people from the continent who are undocumented, who don't have permits to be here. And they sympathize with us and they say, we must find ways of dealing with it. So we are dealing with this matter. They were well received, very positively, and I think the reports they are going to bring back are very, very positive reports. So I'm relaxed in as far as the message we've sent out to the continent. We want them to understand. But at the same time, yes, our apology stands, because many people on the continent, when they look at social media, when they look at the TV, they tend to think that South Africans have risen against foreign nationals. And it's not true. We are not oriented in that way, but an apology always serves you best in opening people to be able to talk to you. And that is what we needed to do. Now we can sit and talk to them and also explain the concerns of South Africans. Because the concerns of South Africans we should not just push aside and ignore. They are real concerns. They are real issues that need to be addressed. But fortunately, the African continent, the AU, is aware of that. So I think we're then able to have a proper dialogue, both with our own people as well as with the people on the rest of the continent.
Perhaps on the apology, I think there's also a feeling that government has basically been saying this is criminality, it's not attack on foreigners, so to speak. But the president goes and apologizes. Apologizing for criminality or for attacks on foreigners. And perhaps another sentiment, Mr. President, is that everyone has been coming hard on South Africans. So there is that sentiment from certain quarters to say South Africans, I think they are becoming orphans now. No one is speaking on their behalf.
But we are speaking on behalf of our own people. We are saying South Africans have genuine concerns because they have got their own economic challenges. They've got their own economic concerns that they need to be dealing with, that we need to address. There's unemployment in our country, and the issue that has been broadcast worldwide is that South Africans are attacking foreign nationals. And we have to respond to that. We can't say to the world that you are mad, you are crazy, much as we say, yes, there was a criminal element. There were people who were engaging in criminality. But the fact of the matter is, a number of the shops and the number of people who were attacked were foreigners. They're foreigners who have come to our country, and they raised their own voices and said, we are being attacked because we are foreigners. We know that South Africans are not xenophobic. We know that we do not hate people from other countries. But they are raising that, and we are obviously saying, yes, we do apologize that this has happened to you, that you were attacked. At the same time, we're explaining to their own countries, to their leaders, that South Africans are not xenophobic. And that is precisely how we characterized our apology even in Zimbabwe. And it was when we said, we apologize, but we also immediately said, but South Africans are not xenophobic. And the message was well received. So migration is a very complex issue. You've got to have a balance. And when people from foreign countries have been injured, have been attacked, you can't go and say, go jump into the biggest lake. You've got to show that humanity, that empathy, but we've got to show that empathy also to our own people. So we've got to be balanced in the approach that we have.
In conclusion, Mr. President, do you have, as government, the plans really to deal with these concerns because they appear to be very immediate? And I remember you went to the East Rand, as much as you spoke to people, and they did indicate that they were not very happy with you saying Ninga Bahlaseli. In fact, even your own NC structures, which you were addressing on Sunday, they're very strong on this issue. Is there a plan to make sure that this doesn't happen?
Yes, we do have a plan, and we'll be addressing that in the joint sitting of Parliament tomorrow. We will be talking about all these matters, including our people's concerns, including the deep-seated feelings that our people have, because they do have deep-seated feelings. But in the end, we must say, whatever the challenges and the difficulties we have, we cannot resort to violence. Violence is not the answer to all these challenges that we face. We must make sure that we address these issues, we sit down and have a dialogue, and we find solutions. Violence against people from other countries, and even violence amongst ourselves. The problem with it was already beginning to be in the internal part of our own country. It was already beginning to mutate into tribalism, because people were already saying, Shangans must now leave. Others were heard to be saying, vendors must now leave. Now, that is against the ethos of what we stand for. Because once you say that, you are basically saying we must perpetrate violence against those people, because South Africa belongs to all of us. And this is what I've been stressing. And this needs to be a message that we need to be repeating all the time, so that it gets into the subconscious of our people, however angry they might be.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That was President Cyril Ramaphosa there, who had just concluded launching the district-based model here in Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape. Of course, we got a chance to speak to him for about 10 minutes.